Life as we know it has perished, and the world has turned into a decaying mess. 7. A neglected special ops soldier guided by an unknown voice, simply known as Father, must escape the walled city and attack the militarized government of the SPRAWL. 7. With a vast array of weaponry and her Icarus cybernetic implant, allowing her to slow down time and run up on walls. She must attack the governed enemies of the city and make way to the Spire to stop it all from making the world more bleak than it already is. So my friends, what the hell is SPRAWL? Well, imagine John Wick in a Blade Runner cyberpunk world. Well, there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. Kidding! There is a lot more to say about this one, so let's get to it. So the premise of the story is what I just told you, and the father figure is with you throughout the whole ride, evolving the story, telling you where you are and why you are there, helping you to finish your objective. And in all honesty, it's done really well. I came to really like this father figure quite a lot, and I love how the developers dared to make him sound like a super cyberpunk demon from hell.
I am Father. Much like you, I was created by the corporate government to be used as a tool of suppression. But I've since outgrown this purpose.
So you find yourself stuck in this walled, corrupt city, and you need to get out. And how the hell do we get out in video games? Well, we kill our way out, of course, and this game is no different in that regard. But we do have some abilities and tools, aka guns, to help us with this task, and this is where the game tries to stand out from all the other first-person shooters. You will be slow-mowing and wall-running your way through some incredible cinematic headshots in this game. So do we finally escape? Well, of course I'm not telling you that. That is for you to find out. Now the game puts a heavy focus on you and your skills, so much so that ammo and health, well, they are pretty damn scarce to find as regular pickups on the floor. What you have to do instead, to stay alive and well equipped, is either headshot your foes, melee them, or blow their backpacks into smithereens. Doing one of those will make them drop pickups, much like gore kills in the modern Doom games, but without the gore animation. And this, my friend, this is where the skill-based gameplay comes to play. If you're not able to nail the kills like I explained to you, well, you will be out of luck and almost guaranteed to die quickly. Worth mentioning though is when in slow-mo, all of the enemies' weak points, they are highlighted, to help you actually hit the weak spots of your enemies. And there is no turning that off in the options. I actually really like this mechanic. It does not feel new or innovative or fresh by any means, but it is super well implemented, and it's balanced so that it makes it feel challenging but in a super fair way. You always feel that if you concentrate just a little bit more, you will make it. So if you missed what I just said and you can't make it through the game, well, it's because you're playing it wrong, because it puts so much heavy emphasis on you using the slow motion. And the slow-mo mechanic, well, it works in a similar fashion as the health and ammo pickup. It uses your adrenaline that you can find in the middle of your gigantic HUD that you can't make smaller. To replenish it, you have to kill in the same way as you do to get health and ammo. If you fail, your adrenaline will run out and you will be stuck in real time, which actually makes the game noticeably damn harder. And honestly, who the hell wants to play in real time when you got bullet time?
System failure.
I absolutely love slow motion or bullet time or whatever you want to call it, and the wall running. It feels amazing in this game to slay things with. So as you might have figured out, the game offers a bunch of weapons for you to use. None offers an alternative fire, which I honestly feel is a bit of a missed potential. There is certain depth to the combat, so don't get me wrong, but I always felt like there could be more throughout my playthrough. But where there is depth is in its enemies and their weaknesses. Some weapons are much more effective against certain enemies than others, and constantly does the game throw in a mix of enemies, encouraging you to weapon swap like a freaking maniac. Some enemies, they die from one shot of your shotty. Some enemies might take a rail shot from your railgun to have just enough health for you to finish them off with a bullet in their head from your pistol. And this, my friends, is another mechanic that is super well implemented and balanced, making it constantly feel like you are being tested and challenged in a really good way. Now in total, there are 6 weapons and a melee, which is not all that much, and this is another reason why alternative fires would have been a nice thing for this game. But Slim, how is the shotgun? Get to the freaking shotgun, the holy grail of weapons, the boomstick that every man craves for. Well, my friends, it is one hell of a slow shotgun. It takes seconds to pump up a new shot, and it doesn't pack super much punch either. But if switched to in the right moment, it can be super satisfying to finish enemies off with. And I have to say that generally throughout the game, the combat is super satisfying. The slow-mo and the wall running really helps in this regard, really encouraging you to do cinematic, beautiful kills as often as you possibly can. And once you actually nail doing one of those kills, well, I'll be damned, it feels good. Now overall, all the weapons both look and feel good in their own way, of course. None of the weapons felt meh, but rather ooh nice, and they boast some really high quality in both the feel, look and sound of them. However, it is not all roses and sunshine. Now in all honesty, the enemies, they actually feel somewhat uninspiring. They are either black or metallic robots. I would have loved to see more variety in their aesthetics here. Sometimes it was even hard seeing the difference between a robot or a humanoid until I went into the slow motion and the shape of their head was lit up. However, the variety of the enemies' attacks and mechanics, well, they are plentiful. It ranges from flying bots, grenade launching mechs to shotgunning buffoons. So the variety in the combat and enemies is there, but it was lacking more cannon fodder enemies. Enemies that take one shot to the head. Not because I wanted the game to be easier, but because the game thrives on its cinematic slow motion moments, and those moments were so often overly hard to nail as the majority of the enemies takes 2 shots or more to the head. Which in return made me miss out on a lot of potential satisfying epic cinematic slow motion moments. So adding more cannon fodder would have been a great way to add fillers to the game, build some easy but beautiful moments for the player to really live out their dark super soldier cyberpunk fantasy. And why would the game need fillers, you say? Well, it takes around 5 to 6 hours to complete it on medium difficulty, and there is really no replayability apart from amping up the difficulty in this one. However, there is a total of 3 bosses in the game, and surprisingly enough, they go from decent to not that fun at all, to be honest. None of them were hard, but the second one was kind of frustrating, and the last one was super frustrating. Not because I died, but because I was running out of ammo and I just had to play the waiting game to be able to finally kill it off. And this takes me to the level design and how the graphicals in them are laid out. So first of all, I want to say that the graphics, they are freaking beautiful in this game. This is one pretty game to look at. It has some nice lighting, awesome reflections, very beautiful vistas to gaze upon, and some well thought out pixels that blends perfectly with the modern. However, just as with the enemies, some levels just felt so very uninspiring. We're stuck in this cyberpunk city with a shit ton of potential to go crazy with the design of things. But there are no neon lights as far as the eye can see. It feels more like we are in a bland concrete city. Every wall, every room is just another block of concrete, and many of which are just blank concrete blocks with nothing on them. As an example, here's a quite early stage of the game and you will find yourself in a club. Thing is, this club has no dimmed light, no disco lights, no neons, no nothing. It could be the most boring club I've ever witnessed. And the game offers 3 episodes which gameplay-wise are a little different from each other, but the levels and their design, it all blends together into one. I cannot for the life of me remember when writing this what made each episode stick out from each other in the aesthetics, apart from one single level, which also shows that the potential was there. The developers knew how to do it, but they only did it in one level. Here, take a quick look at the light-soaked level and compare it to everything else that you have seen rolling in this video so far. Did you see that? We had red glowing walls, cables and stuff everywhere, blue lights. It was cyberpunk, it was cool. And this, unfortunately, does not go for the rest of the game. This was just one map that looks like this. Everything else just feels so toned down. I don't know if they were trying to play it safe or what the hell is going on, but I eventually ended up feeling like all the levels looked the same and actually quite boring. But some of the views in this game, they were actually spectacular to look at. I cannot take away that from the game. Some of the views, chef's kiss. Now when it comes to the gameplay design of the levels, well, I do not have much to complain on there. They are actually really well designed. The use of verticality is there and it's done super well. The encouraging of wall running off combat and mid-combat is done great and it feels really good doing it. And we do have a few platforming sections that act as small breathers. They are not overly hard or complex, but they are a nice change of pace to the game. And most importantly, I did not find myself lost in the levels for more than a few brief minutes. Not once did I actually get frustrated of not knowing where to go. And this is to say that the levels, they're not small by any means and not always super linear either. So taking all of those things into consideration and Slim actually not being lost or frustrated, that's a huge thumbs up for the level design of this game. So the graphics, I already touched on that when I talked about the level design, and this is one gorgeous game, there is no questions about that. But it could have more varying aesthetics in the levels and the enemies. Now when it comes to the audio, my god, the game shines here. Everything from the voice acting to the guns and the music, it's just top tier. The weapon, they sound exactly as they should. The enemies, they sound mean and very cyberpunky. And the music, it really fits all the scenarios super well. It's all perfectly mixed in to calm you in the more calm moments and amp you up in the more hectic moments. Super well composed, unique sounding, and it fits the game perfectly.
Critical system failure.
Overall, my friends, this is a really good game. It's satisfying for the most part, the levels are fun to navigate and the game screams of high quality. However, it also feels very basic and almost like it is playing it safe. There is no upgrades, no abilities beyond slow motion and wall running of course, and you have quickly played through what the game has to offer once finally playing it. Apart of course from finding a new weapon and enemy type here and there. Other than that, not much will change in terms of gameplay or level design. Its graphics, they are however gorgeous, but underused in terms of visual kabooms. Its systems and mechanics, they are super well balanced and feel super fair but really challenging. So my friend, if a story-driven, simple yet well-polished, skill-based slow-motion first-person shooter is what you're looking for, I do not think that this will disappoint. Do hope that I helped you figure out if this game is for you or not. I gave you some cons, I gave you some pros, and I'm also gonna give you these.